Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Nicole, and if you're not new here, welcome back to my channel. Today, I just thought I would sit down with you guys and talk about my pros and cons here at OU. I just thought it would help you guys a lot with your college decisions. I know when I was coming to OU, I really wish someone had made videos like this, so I thought I would do it for you guys. So let's get into it. My first pro for the University of Oklahoma is that it is the perfect distance away from my hometown. I live in Texas and it is about a 3-hour drive to OU, so I thought it was the perfect distance because it's far enough from home where I'm not going there for every single meal, but it is still close enough where I can drive the 3-hour drive on the weekend and spend a weekend at home with my family, or we drive down to Texas for OU Texas. So I thought it was the perfect distance, not too far, not too close, right in the middle, just a great distance where you still get those fun road trips by yourself where you're jamming with music, and it's nice to have that alone time, but not where you get so tired and it takes an entire day to get to your house. My first con for OU is that it is so windy here. I just remember those days when me and my friends would try to go on runs and we're running and we're just not moving at all because we're just getting pushed back. And it's so funny because my little bangs will be they'll be so crazy. Our dorms are kind of in a weird shape, so it just funnels. It's just really brutal walking to class, especially when the temperature gets really low in the 20s. Then it feels 10 degrees outside because the wind chill is so cold, and so the wind and the weather is just not my vibe here. So I would say the weather here is not great at all. I would definitely opt for a super sunny place. The wind here is very brutal and hardcore. So my second pro for OU is that though out-of-state tuition is pretty expensive, they do give a lot of scholarships when you're coming in as a freshman. And not only that, but once you get into OU, there are so many more opportunities than when you are a freshman to get scholarships. So it just really opens up a lot of doors when you get to being a sophomore or a freshman. You can apply for so many more scholarships on the cash application. It just didn't really make sense to me how expensive it was. It was so much more expensive to be out of state than in state, and it just didn't really make sense to me because I'm only 3 hours away, so I don't understand why they charge so much when you are out of state. But the scholarships that they give you when you are a freshman start at a 25 ACT, and I didn't do too hot on my ACTs. I didn't get a crazy amount of scholarships, but anything helps in my opinion. So I would definitely recommend filling out the FAFSA and trying to do really good on your ACT, because they do give a lot of scholarships because they want people to come here and they will try and work with you to get you to come to this school. So my second con for OU would be that there aren't a lot of things to do outdoors here. I'm a really outdoorsy person. I love to be in nature. I love to go camping, and there's just really not a lot of opportunities to go and do that. The only nature trail around here is a mile long, and the closest hiking place that you could hike a mountain or anything like that is probably an hour and a half away. The only thing that's really close is 30 minutes away. There's a Lake Thunderbird, and it's just not even a great lake. Its nickname is Lake Dirty Bird. We don't really go out there that often, so I just wish there were a lot more opportunities to get outdoors, because especially with COVID being a thing, you can't do a lot of things in general, but being outdoors is a great opportunity to hang out with your friends, and there's just not a lot of places that we can go and do that. If we were going to watch a sunset, we'd probably opt for watching a sunset on a parking garage instead of going to watch the sunset on a beautiful mountain, because it's just too hard to do. And so I wish there were more opportunities and more chances for me to go explore the outdoors, because it's just one of my favorite things to do. But it's okay, we can just make the short 13-hour drive to Colorado. Okay, so my third pro for coming to OU was that you get a perfect sense of a college town, but you're still not very far from the city if you want to get away for the weekend. So when I was debating on coming to OU, I was between 3 very different schools: OU, A&M, and UT. At UT, you're right in the middle of Austin, which is so cool, but everything's so expensive, everything is hectic. That was one thing that I was thinking about. And then for A&M, you are right in the middle of a college town, and it's so fun to be in that college town environment, but there's no city to go to. The closest drive is Austin, which is an hour and a half. But then when I looked at OU, you have Norman, which is the perfect college town, and then only a 30-minute drive is Oklahoma City, where you have all this shopping, where you can go to Trader Joe's, you can go to Whole Foods, you can go to Anthropology, all those city type things that you would need to do, going to a nice mall or going to a cool restaurant or coffee shop to eat. And so that was a huge factor when I chose OU. The great in between that you have, you get to spend these awesome Saturdays of college football in your little college town, downtown, but then if you want to go to a cute brunch or a birthday dinner, you just drive 30 minutes and you get to experience some cool spots in OKC. So that was one of my biggest things that I really loved, and now being a student here, we go to the city all the time. On the weekends, it's just so fun. So it's great to have that medium, small town, college feel, but also bigger city feel. My third con, and probably worst con at the moment, is that the food is really not great here or healthy. But honestly, when I was thinking about this con, I really think COVID has a lot to do with it, because we can't self-serve anything. Because when I took my tour here about a year ago, they were hyping up the food here. They were like, oh my gosh, the caf is so good. We have an all-you-can-eat Chick-fil-A and the options are endless. And I was like, oh my gosh, cool, like I can't wait. And then I got here and I was like, this is very different than I thought it was gonna be. But I really think that has a lot to do with COVID, because we can't like self-serve anything. It's slowly starting to get better. Like the Chick-fil-A and the Union used to not have like salads or wraps or anything because of COVID, but now this semester we get those things. I would say this is my biggest con, because I love eating healthy. At my home, I always have fruits and vegetables and try to eat as best as I can, especially with having type 1. It just makes my blood sugars a lot more manageable. But then coming here, I just feel like I'm eating bread, and more bread. All of my food looks the same color. Like where at home, I would eat fruits and vegetables and make a smoothie, and here I'm just having a bagel with butter. There is one place to get smoothies, but they don't even use real fruits. It's just not great. So I think it's COVID's fault. So maybe when you guys are coming here, it could be a lot more different. And I'm not even like really a picky eater. It's just hard for me to eat those foods when I know that they're not gonna make me feel that great after eating them, and I wanna feel my body right. So it's just kind of hard to find really good food and good options here. So my fourth pro for OU is campus. Campus is so beautiful. I remember like sitting on a bench my first week at OU, and I was just sitting there and I was like, you know, I just cannot believe that I'm here. It's so pretty. I really enjoy walking to class. The 20-minute walk really doesn't feel like it when you just get to look around and be so grateful for going to a campus like this. And I'm just really glad that I didn't go to a school where everything is cement buildings. I just really love the architecture and the aesthetic that OU gives off, and I'm just really grateful that I got to come to a school that really cherishes making a beautiful campus. So my second to worst con here at OU is living in the dorms. The dorms are very old and dirty. They were built in around the 60s. So if you can do some math, I don't know, I can't do the math. It was a long time ago. It was built a really long time ago, and it needs some renovations. It needs some updates, and those things have not been made. I've heard rumors that they were supposed to tear down the dorms and rebuild them, but obviously COVID happened and that ruined everything. So that did not happen. So the dorms are still in awful shape. Things just break a lot of the times. My room has flooded before. I know people's rooms have flooded so bad that they've had to move out. My clothes have been ruined in the washing machines before. The showers are really disgusting. As I talked about in my dorm tour, you can clean the whole bathroom and it will still just not look clean. So that is not a great thing about living here. It's just really hard for me. With how much that we pay for the dorms, I feel like we should be getting a better living situation, but hey, we love this. They're great. No, but I still really enjoy living in the dorm rooms here. It makes for the whole college experience, and if I get to say that this was like the grossest and not nice place I live, then I'm a very privileged person, and I'm very lucky to be able to say that. So I'm still very grateful for where I live. I just want to be real and honest with you guys that with the amount that you're paying, I don't think that it is worth living in the dorm situation. But even with all of that being said, I would still recommend living in the dorms, because there are different living situations on OU's campus. There's the residence halls, which are Adams Center, Walker Center, and Couch Center, and then you have things that you would pay more for. You have the Headington College dorm, you have the Dunham College dorm, and then you have the Headington Hall College dorm. I got really played by their website because I thought it was a lot cheaper, but really the meal plan wasn't included in the thing that it said online, so it wasn't actually cheaper, and I was just really confused. In my opinion, I've never been in those dorms before. I've only eaten in those places, places. And yes, it is so much nicer than the residence halls here, but I love living right here in the residence halls. You are right at the heart of campus. Everything is so close. There's a coffee shop, literally 2-minute walk, and then you have the cafeteria right there. You have the mail room over there. And if you choose to live in like Headington Hall and you're just really detached, like all my friends live right here, and it is such an easy walk to go to the gym or go to my friend's dorm. And if I lived all the way in Headington Hall, I would not want to walk 15 minutes to my best friend's dorm room. I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy, but I would just not want to do that, especially when it gets cold or it gets super hot. You just don't want to make those walks, and you do not want to feel detached from campus. You want to be right here in the center of the action. So I really love living in the residence halls, even with all the challenges that it might bring. So sorry if that was like a really long rant or anything. I just wanted to be super honest with you guys about the dorm situation, because I know that is a big part of your not only mental health but just college experience in general. For my 5th pro for going to OU here, I really think that it is the perfect size of a student body. There are about 30,000 students on OU's campus, and when I tell you it's the perfect size, it is a perfect size. It is not too small. You're not going to a campus where you know every single person, everyone is up in your business, but it's still not a massive amount of students where your class sizes are so large or you have trouble getting into the classes that you need to graduate. Obviously for gen eds, you're gonna have 150 people in your class, but when you get down into those major specific classes, then you only have 20 people in your class. And that's just really nice because it makes it so much easier to build a relationship with your teacher and get help when you need it. And it still keeps campus super big where you have a huge student body and so many people can get involved in so many different things on campus. My 5th con for OU is that since there's so many places to get involved on campus, it can be really overwhelming to choose one. I would really recommend only getting involved in a few things on campus, especially in your first semester. You don't want to get super overwhelmed with all of your classes and you're just going through a lot of change in this season, so you don't want to get so overwhelmed with the things that you want to get involved in, because then you won't put in your best effort. It's so much better to choose a few things that you really want to get involved in and give all of your effort to those things instead of only giving the bare minimum effort to a ton of different things on campus just because you want them like on your resume or something. To go along with that con, I would also say that sometimes it's difficult to get connected when you don't really know where to start. Obviously, it's kind of up to you to go out and figure out the information and figure out where to get involved. But I know there's been a lot of like applications that I haven't even heard about. Like my friends will just say them and I'm like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. Sometimes it's just hard because I really wish I could get more in touch with campus. So that's just been kind of a hard thing to navigate, and I wish it was a lot easier to get more information about things that are going on campus and how to get more involved in specific organizations. So my 6th pro for coming to OU would be that the farthest walk on campus is only 20 minutes. So from the dorms all the way to the farthest building, which is the Starkey's Energy Center, it's only a 20-minute walk. My closest class is only a 5-minute walk, and most of my classes are online anyways, so I'm normally walking to the library or the Union, and those are only about a 15-minute walk. The closest place to eat is probably a 3-minute walk, so everything's a short distance to get to, especially on really pretty days. I sort of enjoy walking with the campus being so pretty and the weather being so nice. I just really enjoy taking that time to look around and be grateful, or listening to music, or walking with a friend. I just love walking to classes because it's not a hassle. My last and 6th con is really specific, so it might not really even apply to anyone. I would absolutely love if OU had a graphic design minor. When you're going into a Gaylord college, Gaylord is the communication and media, so I'm a public relations major, so that's my college. You have to minor in something in that college, and I would love to minor in graphic design. I think it'd be super helpful being a public relations major, but OU does not offer that minor, which just really stinks. So it's been a really hard thing to try and find a minor that suits me and suits where I want to go, so I'm kind of lost at the moment, and it would be great if they had a graphic design. The only thing that they have is a visual arts, and you can't even minor in it. You'd have to like double major, and it's just really poopy, to be quite honest, because I think it'd be really helpful and a really good skill to have when I got into my career, but unfortunately they don't even have it, and now I am required to choose a minor, and I'm just not really even sure what I want to do, so that just kind of stinks. So my last and final pro for coming to OU is that the Greek life on campus is a really special place to be in. It's super inclusive. In my sorority, there's so many girls from all different walks of life that are good at so many different things, and we do not look alike. And I know that on other campuses, it can be a really toxic environment, especially when going through the rush process, but this is kind of a whole another video that I want to make about my rush experience, my sorority experience, so keep a lookout for that video. And that is my last pro for coming to OU. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it makes it a lot easier to choose a college for you, especially if you want to come to OU. I know that when I was going through that time, there weren't any videos or any help, and I was so stressed out about choosing my college. I think the biggest advice I would give you is that it's really not a big deal as many people make it out to be. They make this college decision to be a huge thing. I don't even think going to college is even necessary, so I don't know why it's such a big deal to make sure you choose the right one. A lot of them are kind of the same. So you're gonna thrive wherever you go. And if you come to OU or you go to a different college and you feel like, I kind of want to go somewhere else, that is totally fine. Change. You're at TCU, come to OU. You don't like OU, go somewhere else. A college is made for finding yourself and exploring who you are. And I think that if you don't feel like you're at the right place, you can totally change it, and there's no big deal about it. So I just really hope that this video helps someone out in some way, shape, or form. But as always, for my 3 favorite songs for this week, the first one is going to be Wildflower by the National Parks. The second one is going to be Fade Away by Yokelore. And last but certainly not least is Roses by the band Camino. So make sure to go check those songs out, you guys, and leave songs that you want me to listen to in the description below. As you know, I love sharing music back and forth. I think it should be a 6th love language, and I hope to see you guys next week. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the little bell for my notifications to make sure that you never miss a video. But I'll see you guys next week. Peace.